Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is all about rigid body. From tips and tricks to answering your burning questions, I'm excited to dive into this topic with you, so grab your favorite snack and let's get started. I'm going to select the default cube, we are going to hit S on our keyboard and then we're going to hit 7. So again S and 7 and then just hit enter. We want to scale it down on its y-axis. So we're going to go SY. And we're going to flatten it. Flatten it as much as you want. You're just going to quickly go into your edit mode. Now we're going to hit 3 to go into our right orthographic view. You're going to go GY and move it back, till it is sitting on that blue line there. There you can see. Now hit 1 to go to your front orthographic view. We're also going to go GZ and we're going to move it up, till it's sitting on the floor here. Now that we have this established, we're going to tab out of edit mode. And now we have to add in the little pegs so they're really simple to make. We're going to Shift A, and we're going to add in a cylinder. We're going to leave the cylinder settings as they are. With the cylinder selected we're going to tab onto edit mode and we're going to press X90 and hit enter. So we're rotated at 90 degrees on the X-axis here. We're then going to press S, we're going to scale this down. Now how much you scale it down by is completely up to you. Just have some fun with it. So we're going to go G, Y, and also move it forward just a little bit. Now we're going to go to our face select option and select this face down here. And we'll go G, Y, and move it forward. And with this face still selected, if you hit Ctrl or Command and then B, you can see we can bevel it. I'm going to roll my middle mouse wheel up just a few times to add in some extra geometry. So now we have a nice rounded looking peg thing here. So what we're going to do is, we're going to tab out of edit mode. Back into object mode, now we're going to go into our front view. And with this peg selected we're going to hit G and move it over to the side here. It doesn't have to be precise, just be creative. I'm going to give this an array modifier. And we'll come here to our array modifier, and we're just going to take the X value here and just drag it up a bit. So what we're looking for here is the spacing roughly like this. And now we're going to tab into edit mode. Now press L over the peg to select it. Now go to your front orthographic view. We're going to go Shift D to duplicate it, and we're going to move the peg up. And I'm going to make sure that the distance between here and here is enough for a ball to pass through. We're going to tab back into object mode and now we can go back to that array modifier, and just mess around with the slider till the distance is the same between here as in here. And then I'm going to come over here and bump up the count, till we have it going to the other side of our pegboard here. You can see we have that. You can minimize this array modifier and we'll come here to the drop down and go duplicate. So we're going to expand this and let's make the value here on the X0. So let's drag the Z up. Let's have a look at that. We have way too many on the count here, so just bring the count down. We want to move it up till the spacing between these pegs down here, and the ones at the top row here are about the same as well. So something like that. And if it's too many you can always come here on both of these and just bring it back a notch like this. And I'm going to hit G, Z, and move this whole thing up like that. So now I have my little pegs here, but let's just continue modeling the rest of the pegboard. Go to your front view, so we're going to Shift A, and add in a cube. We're going to go S, X, and scale this down on the X like this. And then G, Z, move it up till it's sitting right here like that. Now go to your side view and hit G, Y, and move it forward. Now tab into edit mode and select the vertex option, then hit Alt-Z to go in wireframe mode. Now select the two front vertexes, then hit G, Y, and move it back till it's the same as the pegs. You can see here. We're going to flatten this a little more. So hit S and scale it down on the X-axis a little. Then we're gonna go Shift D and then press X, I'm gonna move it to the side. Again Shift D, X, and move over the next side along the X. Now we have these little barriers. And now we need to add a domain so all of our little balls don't just fall everywhere in our scene. So let's quickly add in a cube, and let's go over here to Object Properties. Then we go down to our Viewport Display. Let's come here to the Display As and let's make it wire. But if we were to render this would still be in the render, so we need to come up to the visibility as well and just untick render. So we won't actually see this in the final render if it's in our scene. So now with our cube selected we're going to go S, X, and scale it on the X. Just about that much. Now go to your right orthographic view and you can kind of see that we're doing here. Now hit G, Y, and move it forward like this. I'm going to tab into edit mode of the selected and select the front vertex, then hit G, Y, and move it back in line with the pegs. Press A to select all, we're just going to move it up like this. I'm just gonna select all of these back vertices. And just move them forward so it's just covering that. So you can see what's going on. Now we're going to go to the face select mode. Now select the top face and we'll go G, Z, and just move it up. So our simulation is just going to be taking place within this box here. And now I'm going to go E to extrude it up. And then I'm going to go S, X, and scale it down on the X to make a little bit of a neck. And then we're going to go E to extrude it up. And then I'm gonna go S, X, and scale it out along the X like that. So we're just making this funnel system from keeping the balls from bouncing all over our scene. And now I'm just going to go to Vertex Select and select all of the top vertices. And just bring them all down. So we're going to have all of the balls starting at the top here. So just go to your face select, and select this top face up here, hit X and delete that face. Now we have an opening, and here is where all our balls are going to go into. So I'm going to tab out of edit mode and select the pegs. Now go to the modifiers tab, and go to the drop down here, and apply both modifiers. Now right click and shade smooth. So I've got some funny shading going on here. So if we just tab into edit mode and go to your right orthographic view, Alt-Z and go into wireframe mode. Now select all these back faces, hit X and delete those faces, we don't need them. So now that's looking a lot better. So now we're also just going to apply the scale before we get started with any physics. So hit A to select everything, Control A or Command A and apply that scale. So now we need to add in our little balls. So now we're gonna go Shift A and add in an icosphere. I'm going to just leave it as the default settings here. Now right click and shade smooth. And then I'm going to go G, Z, and move it up, like this. And I'm going to scale it down. Like that. We're making them about the same as the diameter of the pegs. Now we're going to go to our right orthographic view. And now move the ball forward so it's kind of sitting in the middle of this domain over here. So we've got it like that, now we're just going to place it up here in the funnel to the left. Now we also need to apply the scale, so we're gonna go Control A and make sure to apply that scale. So now before we duplicate this ball we're gonna just add some physics to it so it's ready to go. With the ball selected we'll go to our physics setting and we're going to go to rigid body and click on it. Now this is going to be a moving part so we're going to leave the type as active. We're going to come here to the collision shape, and we're going to make sure to make that mesh. It's not just an approximation here, it's going to be mesh to mesh interaction. And now we'll come down here to our surface response, and let's just make the friction point tree. I think that will be a bit better. Now I'm going to come down here to our sensitivity, the margin we should be able to get away with that, so we're going to leave it as it is. And I think that should all be fine. So now we can go to the ball and press Shift D, in our front orthographic view, and then hit X and move it over to the side. Now press Shift R, to repeat that. Now select all of these, I'm gonna go Shift D, Z, and move them up and just click. And then I'm gonna go Shift R, just to repeat that action. So I'm gonna add in, about this many. I'm gonna go more than that. I think that should be fine, for the simulation. If I were to hit play, it's just going to fall right through, not interacting with anything. So we need to add some properties to the surrounding things. So we're going to select the domain here. We're going to select rigid body. We have to make it passive this time, because it's not going to be active, so make it passive. Come here to the shape and let's make that mesh, and the rest of the things will leave as they are. But instead of having to go through the whole thing, doing the rest like that to all the other things, we're just going to select these at the bottom. When you select one, by holding Shift you can select the other two as well. Ctrl J just to join them. And then while they're still active, we're going to hold Shift and select this back plate. So now we have these selected. And while we're still holding Shift we're going to select the pegs, so now we have all the objects selected. And while we're still holding Shift we're going to select the domain last, that's now the active one. And we're going to go and hit F3 on our keyboard, and while that's all active there, we're going to type copy from active and select it. Now if we click on this backboard here we have copied all the physics from one to the others. So you don't have to manually go and give a rigid body and make it passive to each one of them. So now if we go to frame 1 and we hit Shift and spacebar, we are going to see some nice sweet interaction here. I did some adjustment to the balls, so do what is best for you. You can see the animation is not long enough, we need to make it longer. So before we do that though, we want to come over here to our rigid body settings. Now go down to the rigid body world, and I'm going to make the speed 2 times faster. Now it really depends on how long you want to run the simulation. I'm going to come down here to the cache, and I'm going to give the end frame 350. We're going to cache this out so it's not this slow. First of all just make sure to save your blend file before you do any of this. Now go to the timeline, and at the end frame time type 350. And now come over here and hit bake. So I'm going to let it do its thing and then we'll be right back. Okay, so the cache is now finished, it took 3 minutes on my computer. So now if we press Shift and spacebar we're going to see our simulation running. And look at that, doesn't that just look really satisfying? All these little balls, they're all falling into their little spaces here. I am going to shorten the timeline, so instead of 350 I will put 200 frames. I am going to delete the bake, and then change the end frame to 180. That's looking really cool. And you're going to see that there are some stray balls here, but I'm going to show you how to deal with that. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually select our domain here, because we don't really need it in the scene. Now press the M key, then click on New Collection, let's call this Junk. So now over here in our collections just minimize the main collection, you're going to see this new collection called J. So just come here to the I and just untick it, we don't need to see that. Now what we're going to do is, we're just going in our scene here. Select the pegs and also the backboard, and just quickly hit H just to temporarily hide them. Also just select the camera and the light in the scene, we're just going to hide them. While we're at our last frame here, we're going to select all of these stray balls. Hit M and we're just going to come and click on that J collection, and move them there. And now we can go Alt-H to bring back our board and the pegs. Now if we go to frame 1 and we play the animation, we won't see those stray balls. You won't even know about them. So that's a little way to get around that. And there you have it. So now it's super simple to do the materials differently. So what we're going to do is quickly grab everything in our scene, make sure you're on the last frame, so select everything except the balls and just hit H. And now I'm just going to select each group, so I'm going to select the first group of balls by just clicking here and dragging. And then I'm going to hold Shift and just select one of them. I'm going to go to my Materials tab, click New, and I'm going to go to the Viewport Display, so you can make it any color you want. I'm going to make this green. Then I'm going to go Ctrl L, then I'm going to go Link Materials. So all of these ones that are not active is gonna get the main color of this main active one, if that makes sense. Come over here and select these ones, now hold Shift and click on any one of these balls here. Click New, go to your Viewport Display, make it any color, just so you can see it's been applied. Ctrl L and Link Materials. Now do the same thing here. Okay, just like that, I might make that red, now Ctrl L to Link Materials. Now click and drag over these balls, hold Shift and click any one of them. Click on New, make a color, it doesn't really matter what, Ctrl L and Link Materials. And now we're done, so let's go back to frame 1, Alt-H to unhide everything. And now this is where it looks super satisfying. And there we have it. I'm not going to do a materials or lighting tutorial. Because there's already a ton of stuff like that on YouTube, this is just kind of showing you how to do this sort of thing in Blender. Just to make it stand out a bit better, I might actually give these things some placeholder materials as well, just so it stands out. But yeah, you guys kind of get the point here, on what's going on. And I'm going to be making this blend file available on my Patreon soon. It also helps support the channel and allows me to make a lot of this content for the community. So I really appreciate those of you who are going to go on my Patreon, and those of who is watching my videos, thanks for helping me out. So I'll see you guys next time for another Blender tutorial.